It's day 57. Before this episode begins, Jack goes to Sayid and to the hiding place of the Halliburton case. Remember the Halliburton case? Sayid had it the last time in the season 1 finale. Jack takes it to the armory in the Swan station. You can see how much bigger this room is. In my previous episode, I mentioned that Sayid might have demolished or taken down the wall to find some extra space. That's at least one way to explain the growing armory. Therefore, the Swan map has now changed and this wall is gone.
Shouldn't you be more worried about Jack ransacking your tent right now?
What?
Jack ransacks Sawyer's tent for the pills he took. He goes to the Swan again, along with Ana Lucia, but she doesn't enter the station. Therefore, she has no alibi for where she was during the coming rainstorm. In an off-screen scene, Sawyer talks to Charlie about their devilish plan, targeting a survivor. Sun is often at the garden by herself, so she is an easy target. Sawyer goes back to his tent.
10 ways to tell if he's a sensitive man.
This ought to be good.
Morning.
Hey, John.
Now there's a sensitive man.
Kate brings Sawyer a magazine, and they both see Locke coming to the beach, presumably after he's done with his hatch duty. Hurley goes in here to find Sayid. This brown forest area is really behind Police Beach, where this scene was filmed, likely in close proximity to this scene from What Kate Did. Here's the photo from the site. This is behind the beach. It could be around here. Hurley gives him the shortwave radio. I mentioned in the previous episode my theory that Sayid went on a hike to find the radio tower, to no luck. So no wonder he's so grumpy and depressed. He's lost Shannon, and now this. I think Hurley is going to the hatch for button duty, since Jack, Kate and Locke are often at the beach this day. Vincent comes running by to the garden, and then Charlie comes and grabs Sun. Sawyer and Kate hear her, and this solidifies that Sun's garden is close to the beach in this direction based on the way they react. They run into the jungle. Sawyer sends Kate away to get Jack. She runs to the hatch and he comes running back quickly. The heroes discuss the situation. Sayid is not here because he's building the antenna we will see at the end of the episode. So maybe he's back at the old beach camp grabbing some supplies he hasn't used since they tried to triangulate the distress signal in season 1. He will show it to Hurley later in the night. Sawyer and Kate go to the jungle area outside Sun's garden and find the hood, insisting the details of the attack are inconsistent with the others' past actions, and accuses Anna. Two people express their wishes to join Anna's army.
I got a couple more people interested in joining up.
Yeah, who?
The big guy who lives behind Sayid and Scott.
You mean Steve. Scott's dead.
Scott, Steve.
This is a bit weird. How would she know about the Scott-Steve confusion when she came to the camp long after Scott died? I think it can be answered as easy as someone giving another tour of the camp, pointing at the various people on the beach, who lives in this tent and who lives over there, what they do, who's related to who, and then end up calling Steve by the wrong name. Sun is awake. Kate believes it's part of Anna's maneuver to control the guns. She sends Sawyer to the hatch to warn Locke about Ana Lucia. Instead, he goes to Charlie and tells him about their next step. Locke is in the living area and alphabetizing the books.
Sure. Son gets attacked in the jungle. You figure it's a good time to start the damn Dewey Decimal System.
Hadn't Sawyer stopped him, Locke would eventually find our mutual friend and the failsafe key. They gather all of the guns and the Virgin Mary statues, and while Locke goes out of the station through the airlock and then to a secret place in the jungle to hide them, Charlie is following him. Back in the hatch, Jin and Jack come to the computer dome.
What are you doing here? 1 second. Like this close to the high score on Donkey Kong.
Let's take a pause here. Back in the day, fans were trying to figure out the functions of these machines. These are oscilloscopes, and you also have these magnetic tape drives. The most prominent thing is this giant board here. It's a USAFANGSQ7 computer system, which has been part of sci-fi TV shows and movies for decades.
Yes.
Dr. Sleevemore, this is Raven, the girl I told you about.
Oh, Raven. You had the vision, screwed up the volleyball game.
Carly, did you have to tell everybody?
I want to highlight a very small website that catalogs them all. Link in the description. If anyone has suggestions on what exactly these things do in the Swan station, then please say so. I think it's just there to suggest that there's a lot of freaky technology that is keeping the station afloat and shouldn't be analyzed deeper than that. They are just part of the set. Then they open the armory. The guns are gone, and so they hurry out of the station. Sawyer will go outside too. Luckily, he just pushed the button, so they have a window of 108 minutes. Sawyer goes out of the station and then meet Charlie. They both move the guns away from Locke's hiding spot and then both go to the beach. During a confrontation on the beach, both Jack and Locke are shocked when Sawyer reveals that he has all the guns.
The new sheriff in town, boys. Y'all best get used to it.
Sayid comes to Hurley with the radio and the antenna he just made. They listen to Moonlight Serenade. I'll end this episode with an off-screen trek. Benjamin Linus will travel down south, heading towards the Swan. Some people theorize that he was either heading to the Pearl or from the Pearl. By now, the others have Michael. They also have Walt. They are frightened of Walt, and Ben has a tumor on his spine, and he has come up with the perfect cover story because they know about Jack Shepard being a spinal surgeon. Henry Gale's balloon is a perfect cover story. He learned a lot from him from their encounter and will use this information. He either came directly from the barracks or from the Pearl, since we know he has been checking up on the survivors from the Pearl. But it was ultimately a bad call to hike through the night. Even as smart as he is, a tripwire is not that visible in the dark, and he would fall right into a resource trap. So from now on, he'll be Henry Gale. We'll dive right into this in the next episode, One of Them.